Well, hello, everyone. Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, 20-year former minister, Assemblies of God, Church of God, Cleveland, Tennessee, and others, Bible college graduate, over 100,000 hours of biblical study. A little bit of a different subject today. Following up on the reporting I've been doing and being assisted by the on-the-ground reporting of the Meteor in Michigan. I'm going to go back here to 2013. I'm going to go to the Spookd blog, which is a blog of a fellow named Greg Davis, a fellow I don't know, but let me show you this blog and let me tell you why I'm talking about his blog as it relates to Meteor, or was it from February of 2013? Let's take a look about this gentleman. And he is a follower of one of my great subscribers, Hillary K. Davis. But why am I listening to this guy? He was published in March 2013 in Defense and Foreign Affairs Strategic Policy. He received an award from the Director of Central Intelligence for Exceptional Intelligence Analyst Award. He received an award from the DoD, which is the Department of Defense, the Superior Service Medal for creating and directing the ops for the DoD clandestine service, the National Press Club Vivian Award, Board of Directors of multiple nonprofits, Good Samaritan Honors. He's an at-large intelligence advisor, has been a CEO, has been the editor of the Best of DC, an IT professional, a consultant, a teacher, a staff officer, Battalion Corps, Unified Command Theater, NATO Support Command, Director of Operations, DoD Clandestine Service, Special Intelligence Advisor, Special Assistant to U.S. Ambassador at Large, Strategic Intelligence Analyst, editor Pentagon Black Book, military version of NID, DCI National Intelligence Daily, CIA's Daily Newspaper, content above, top secret, current intelligent analyst, director of intelligence, military commander, director, special agent in charge, advisor, special ops, regional intelligence officer, case officer, combat engineer officer, infantry soldier, assistant comptroller, history teacher with Master in Arts, Master in Business Administration, and an associate in an AB, I'm not sure what that is, in international relations from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So to say the guy has great credentials is an understatement. So let's talk about, and I apologize as I'm getting over this cold. Let's talk about what he, doggone it. Let's talk about, my goodness. Let's talk about what he talks about with this other meteor, 2013 in Russia. And I think that we can learn some things about the media of late, the Meteor of late, that was over Michigan. Now, let's look at what Mr. Davis says about this meteor, and they look strangely alike. Now, he found in watching footage that an object appears above the meteor back in 2013. He also sees the same object below the meteor. It's a cylindrical object traveling parallel to, as well as below and behind the meteor, and quickly overtaking it. Now, this is very odd, because if it were a component of the meteor or a piece of the meteor which had broken off, science dictates that it would have spun off at an angle away from the meteor at a slower speed, since it would have much less mass and the spinning would create considerable wind resistance. He even includes a link to a scientific paper of what would happen and what does happen when the sliding interface of a hypersonic flyer target system is subject to immense forces due to dynamic loads and the highly oblique impact of the flyer with the target. I think that speaks to some pretty strong credibility. So what he saw in separate footage that he has documented here is the meteor itself, a cylindrical craft entering to what looks like a hangar deck or a ramp of the meteor, and then disappearing inside that meteor. Now, I was for many years a crew chief on a C-130 aircraft. And let me just show you something. C-130 ramp. Let me see if I can show you pictures of a C-130 ramp. Here we go. I worked on these for a lot of years. See, there's a ramp. This comes down in flight or on the ground, and things can make ingress and egress. And I mean, they can do it at altitude. I've seen a lot of people jump out of perfectly good airplanes. You can put tanks in here. You can put a lot of stuff, and they can come in and out. So as you keep that in mind, Mr. Davis says that this is a ramp. Whether he's correct or not, this is a craft going into this meteor through what looks for all the world like it could be a ramp and then disappearing in there. Now the cylinder overtakes and approaches the rear of the meteor and then enters the meteor. And upon entering the meteor, suddenly the meteor changes direction. The front of the meteor flattens, and we see puffs appearing above and below the main body. Davis then says that the puff extends, as does the one below. The front of the meteor flattens and appears to be turning. I think Davis is saying that it looks like a fin. In my estimation, I would say that they would be more likely to be navigational thrusters, and that these aren't really fins, but I would say they're more navigational thrusters. He could be right. But the point of the matter is that in Davis's estimation, and I have a hard time arguing with it right now, this is not a meteor, it's a craft. Another craft approached this craft, boarded this craft, went up into the flight deck or the bridge or wherever and began to manipulate controls that changed the shape of the craft, changed the direction of the craft, and changed the speed and orientation of the craft. And then, ladies and gentlemen, more puffs appear, and these puffs are rejecting cylindrical objects above and below the meteor. Even though it looks like they're coming from the front of the meteor, Davis is suggesting that the meteor has turned away, so it only looks like they're coming from the front. They're actually possibly coming from the bottom rear of the meteor, which would make perfect sense if these are escape pods, as Davis is suggesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are these? Davis is suggesting it's a craft boards the craft, a craft changes the orientation, speed, and direction of the craft, and a craft evacuates the crewmen of the craft. He thinks they're escape pods. They're certainly not meteor spin-offs. And somebody say, oh no, they were just shooting at the thing. Well, guess what? This thing was going 65,000 miles per hour. The fastest plane that the U.S. Air Force or the Russians have can go 4,000 miles an hour. You're not catching a 65,000 mile an hour meteor in a 4,000 mile per hour aircraft. Not only that, the fastest surface to air missiles are 13,000 miles per hour. You're not catching a 65,000 mile per hour craft with a 13,000 mile per hour missile, and hitting one is almost impossible. That's why the Russians were very clear to say, listen, we did not shoot down this meteor. So, what does Davis say it is? Well, here's his hypothesis, and I frankly have a hard time arguing with it. If you are a UFOologist or a ufologist, if you are in the know on UFOs, you know that there's a lot of these, and they're nearly ubiquitous, these teardrop-shaped UFOs. They look kind of like the old computer mouse. These things are everywhere. They're sighted ubiquitously. They're everywhere. And Davis superimposed one of these teardrop UFOs over the profile of the meteor. And you can see how completely, perfectly it fits. So recapping what we've seen. What we saw was a large meteor, which Davis is saying or suggesting was a craft. Then another cylindrical craft approaches the meteor craft. The meteor craft opens a hangar door, a ramp door, as in a C-130 aircraft. The cylindrical craft enters the hangar door of the teardrop-shaped craft, i.e. Meteor, It gains control of the teardrop. It coordinates the ejection of the crew in escape pods, which have their own guidance and propulsion systems, which eject and fly away in formation. And then it steers the teardrop craft away from urban areas to facilitate the escape pods and to control the detonation over uninhabited areas of the teardrop craft. Interestingly enough, to overtake the teardrop craft, it'd have to be going in excess, Davis says, between 40,000 and 65,000 miles an hour. We don't have anything that we know of that is possible to make those type of speeds in, not to mention the navigational moves that are required to eject those pods, right those pods, steer those pods. It's beyond our technology, or at least technology as we know it. And then Davis speculates what could have happened with the Challenger if we'd been able to employ this type of technology, but the Challenger had no escape pods. So Davis speculates that the Meteor was actually a spacecraft. He says an alien spacecraft, which had lost control of itself and was heading into Earth's atmosphere. It was about to impact overpopulated areas, and an operation was launched to change it from its course of direction, to evacuate its crew, and to detonate it over unpopulated areas. Here's one of the holes that was found in Russia subsequent to this subsequent to this event. They said there was no meteor fragments larger than 8 inches. That's an awfully big hole to be created by an 8-inch piece of meteor. So his speculation is that it was a craft that was trying to steer an asteroid away from Earth, lost control, was about to crash, and was redirected over unpopulated areas in order to prevent a disaster. I think it makes a lot of sense. And as we apply it to what we have learned the past couple of days on my channel and other places, beware of Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. This is the one where it says, there's a girl in there that says, beware of Jeff Daugherty, but he's so cute. Oh, that's hilarious. That's just so hilarious. You don't believe me? I'll show you. You don't believe me? I will show you. Watch this. It's so funny. Come on, where's the comments? Oh, you have to see this, folks. This is the kind of stuff you can't make up. Where is it? I hope they didn't delete it. Wouldn't that just be terrible if they deleted it? Where is it? Where is it? Aw, I think they might have deleted it. Doggone it. I should have saved it. That was hilarious. Oh, well. You'll just have to take my word for it that it was there. Oh, here it is. The Manx. Beware of Jeffrey Daugherty. But he's so cute. Oh my gosh, that's funny. But anyway, back to our business at hand, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking about, not that. We've not been talking about that. We've been talking about these meteor things. And I just wanted to maybe show you a picture of one of these meteors, and you can see that it looks very much like, and of course I can't find it when I want to, it looks very much like the meteor that was seen in Russia. So go back and look at this, and I will put it on the playlist, because was this meteor that we just had over Michigan, was it also a craft that was designed to stop? Sounds like something's boiling. That was designed to stop some type of a natural disaster, and it also had to be taken care of. Very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Very powerful. And I think something might be burning in my house. So I'm going to have to sign off. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, encouraging you to ask questions.